predictions.
I genuinely believe this might be Jason Jordan's big time to shine. Here's a month, kids. Let's see how you do.
I'm trying to tell you, if AJ Styles hits that phenomenal forearm, Kevin Owens will get pinned. Reactions.
And by the way, why does John Cena have to shake the guy's hand every time he loses? And why didn't Roman Reigns turn it down?
They did such a good job of building up Braun Strowman. I believed in him as a monster. And then one F5 took him down. One F5. RWT presents Ring Psychology. Good morning, RWT family members. I am Emir Blackbane Costello, and I am joined, of course, by my co-host, Ebeza.
Hello.
And also, for the first time ever, we're doing something groundbreaking, and Ring Psychology today meets Whenxt. We have Mr. Brian Green here with us, so we can discuss War Games along with Survivor Series. How you doing, Brian?
I am doing fantastic. Good moment to the both of you. Feels good to be here. I'm out of place. I'm out of place here on a Sunday on Ring Psychology. So thanks for having me here. It's gonna give you the who, what, when, where, why, everything on Whenxt and NXT here in Ring Psychology. So thanks for having me here.
You are so out of place because you know what you're doing.
Not at all. I really earn my money sounding like I know what I'm doing, so that's where I think my charm comes from.
We got to work on that in there. We got to work on that.
Yeah, we definitely do. It's been a rough morning, but luckily it's getting ready to come out of my hands and into the hands of a man more capable, Brian Green. What do you got for us, man?
Okay, so yeah, you guys invited me on because you wanted to talk War Games, and that's what I got. Some knowledge, some War Games knowledge. I am the Michael Cole. What was he? He was an infield analyst. When he broadcast for the war, he was a broadcast analyst. That's what I'm going to do for you guys here. So getting into the War Games card, we have some matches that we put together over the last few weeks. NXT usually does a very good job of putting on some great, compelling storylines. They don't give you an oversaturation of superstars. You don't see the same person on TV every week. So at the TakeOver events, you really see a culmination of a lot of different feuds that have been built over several weeks and even months, because these events are spread out throughout the year. They're typically done at each of the big four pay-per-views, and you seldom get to see everyone just thrown at you all at once. So you get to see the collaboration of the NXT roster and kind of an overall presentation of what they can do as a whole, what Triple H is working on. I guarantee you this show is going to open up with Triple H in the ring like, you fucking marks, this is what I give you, NXT TakeOver, like, here it is, like, War Games. So he always comes out and just makes it like a big deal. But one of the two matches that they're going to actually record and not put on the War Games card, they're going to air a week after, they usually do, is the UK Championship match. We have Pete Dunne against Johnny Gargano. Now, this match is kind of being done. Johnny Gargano, has been on a slump since getting, the shaft from Tommaso Ciampa in the DIY feud. Ciampa's been out with an injury for the past several months, so they're giving Gargano this UK Championship match against Pete Dunne, who's been fantastic. So, what do you guys think about this matchup here?
I think, like you said, Johnny Gargano's been in his slump, and they're going to continue that storyline. I feel like obvious winner is obvious. But I don't think that's the point of this match. I think the point is everyone's going to want to watch it because the match is going to be ridiculously good. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is... Okay, here's the thing about NXT. NXT is not so much about production and all that. It reminds me of New Japan and Ring of Honor, places like that, where it's just purely about the wrestling. And I don't know that it gets any better than Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano. I'm excited for the match. I don't expect Johnny to walk out with the belt or anything crazy like that, but I know it's just going to be pure wrestling excitement and adrenaline from start to finish.
right. Yeah, a really great matchup here. Really great collaboration of styles. I think these two are going to fit each other very well. I think these two are going to have great chemistry. It sucks that we're actually going to have to wait a week to see it. It's not actually going to be on the TakeOver card. They only put about 2.5 hours of content into their TakeOver shows, so they're a lot more easier to digest than the 6 hours of pre-show and pay-per-view that you get with Survivor Series, but we'll see that next week.
Hey, take it easy, buddy. We invited you on Ring Psychology, not so you could bash what we do, all right?
Yeah, don't be bashing our main roster like Mr. NXT. Yeah. wait till you get the call up. You'll love it here.
Ring Psychology is under siege. Hey, sorry. I'm gonna stay in my box over here. But next match next week, I think we're gonna see not really much behind it. Ruby Riott, Sonya Deville, kind of a grudge match. I don't know if you guys know much about Sonya Deville. She's kind of being built as this UFC kind of cornrow having, boxing glove wearing striker in the ring. She's just a badass chick. She's going up against Ruby Riott, someone who I think it can be built as a great baby face for all these punk rock DIY teenage girls who just want to be rebels. So do you guys have any investment in this match at all? Like, does this...
No, not really, but I have heard a bit about her coming up. Was it Sonya? I've heard in a couple of other podcasts. I know I'm a traitor, but I've heard them talking about how she has a lot of potential. As running that sort of MMA-esque gimmick. A similar sort of routine to Brock Lesnar, where it's sort of like that legitimacy, but obviously not to the same extent. Yeah, I've heard she's could potentially be going places, so looking forward to seeing that as well, because I'm definitely going to watch NXT this week, mainly for the Dunn Gargano match, but that'll be a bonus.
Oh yeah.
My thoughts are this. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to be really honest. The only reason I have a hard time watching Ruby Riott is because I feel like she resembles a pigeon, like her face.
You're so correct.
So it's a little distracting to be like, wow, look at that pigeon go.
I didn't know pigeons. That's all it is, sat there like jaw agape, just like, what? Who's doing this pigeon? And who shaved his hair? Like, I've seen Deville. The thing about her is, I like this kind of fusion of UFC wrestlers. Just like Shayna, whatever her last name is.
Miss Shayna Baszler.
Right. The reason why I like it is because it has that this match could end at any moment type of feel to it. That you can be submitted. Anything could happen with that. I think it's going to be an interesting contrast in styles, and I'm going to watch it and I'm going to enjoy it.
Maybe they should bring CM Punk back with a UFC gimmick. Then that match could end at any time because he could get tapped out. Like.
It's bad enough that he has to job in UFC. Let's not do it to him here too.
Boy. Well, his gimmick will be he'll give up in the first 40 seconds of each match.
Hey, by the way, I think Deville comes out with the win because I feel like Ruby Riott is a major talent in NXT, and a loss doesn't hurt her. But Deville, she needs that momentum to keep going in her direction. So I feel like she's gonna find a way, hopefully, to go over Ruby Riott.
Yeah, I feel like from what little I've seen and heard about Ruby, she seems to be sort of like pre-heel turn Sami Zayn, where she's going to be over no matter how many she wins and loses. So when it comes to a situation like that, she can take the loss, and no one's going to like her any less. So
yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. I think this match can be about in-ring quality and how great of a match these guys can put on, but more importantly, the direction of the women's division in NXT and where they want to go with either one of these two women. But actually getting onto the actual card of NXT TakeOver War Games, the first match we're going to look at here is Cassius Ohno against Lars Sullivan. Cassius Ohno went to General Manager William Regal and asked for this match. Said that he's kind of been on the up and down lately, and he wants a big match to prove himself. He called out Lars himself, asked for this beatdown that is just waiting for him. What do you guys got on this match? Lars Sullivan or Cassius Ohno? What you think?
I really hope that that Lars, and I could be a bit biased because I don't like Cassius Ohno. First of all, I think his name is stupid. So Cassius Ohno is formerly known as Chris Hero, right?
That's such a better name.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what is this Cassius crap?
The most marketable name in wrestling history, and WWE change it. Like, the merch just sells it itself. It designs itself and sells itself for Chris Hero, doesn't it? Cassius Ohno, not so much.
Cassius, who signed off on that terrible ass name?
I blame Vince.
Yeah, here's another thing about Cassius Ohno. Okay, so Kevin Owens is, as Randy Orton often points out, a little bit on the chubby side. But the thing about Kevin is I really feel like he's got speed to him. He has agility. He can do flips and he can dive, blah, blah, blah. But I look at Cassius Ohno. He's kind of like a weird-looking guy to me, like his physique. And I feel like he moves slow, and I'm not a big fan. I've tried to watch like some of his best matches because like Harold Joseph Hunter III tries to sell me on Cassius Ohno, and I'm like, this is a great guy, blah blah blah, and I just haven't seen it, man. I don't see what the big deal is about him. Now Lars isn't. I mean, he's just big and he hits hard, but some kind of way that's good enough for me. I don't know.
I feel like Cassius Ohno has never had a match as good as Chris Hero's best matches somehow. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's not sold on the change of name and the position he's in, but some of Chris Hero's matches, like, much as I've just had a slight dig at him, I'm quite a big CM Punk mark, and Chris Hero versus CM Punk back in the name of the federation, the indie promotion eludes me, but they basically tore down bits of the building in one of the matches because it was the last show they were going to have there and stuff, and the whole series of matches was so good. And then I've not really been able to get into him since he's been in NXT that much. I mean, I think Lars Sullivan's going to win. I don't see Cassius Ohno really being there to win very much in NXT. I feel like he's been brought in as like almost to help the younger guys and job to them essentially, but make them look good in doing so.
Right, yeah, I agree. I think all across the board here, we all are kind of assuming that Lars is going to get the victory here. The thing about Cassius, I haven't seen any of his matches as Chris Hero. I don't really know what he's capable of in the past. I understand that he was formerly in a tag team with Cesaro, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the Kings of Wrestling.
Yeah, the Kings of Wrestling. I don't know how fantastic they were. That could have been fantastic. That just another indication that Cesaro has just kind of been in tag teams. I want to see that guy just excel by himself. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, yeah. We can get onto that on the main card thing about how wasted Cesaro is. I usually have a good 4 or 5 minutes on each ring psychology on how wasted Cesaro is. So
okay.
you can join in on that. By the way, you said across the board you think we all agree Lars is going to win. You have to get Emir to say it out loud, because otherwise, if Ohno picks up the win on this show, he'll be like, hey, see, I never picked Lars. I know what he's like.
You don't listen, here's the thing, Brian. You don't know what it's like to pick matches against this guy. This is what Mike does. Okay, I'll make a prediction and I'll be like, I'm certain this person's gonna win, and then Mike will go, okay, but what about this? And what about these things over here? And then he gets me to change my pick. Then he picks the thing that I originally picked, and then he gets to be right.
It's not like that at all. All I did, right, I know exactly what you're referring back to. And all I said, because Emir was like, oh, I really want this to win, I really want this to happen. And I was like, okay, but who do you think is going to win? And he completely talked himself round. And then in the review show, when he was wrong, he blamed me. And I was like, no, I just said, you said, I want this to happen. What do you think's going to happen? That's all I said. I know what you're on about.
Now, he used that Jedi mind tricks, all that. He knows I'm from the dark side, and
who are you picking? Say it out loud.
I am picking Cassius Ohno to get pinned 1, 2, 3, because Lars Sullivan's gonna get that victory.
Oh, the swerve. Okay, I'll let you off. I thought you were picking Cassius just to be contrary then.
So for the record, I have it down that Emir said that he picks Cassius Ohno to get the pin on Lars and get the victory.
Biggest typo ever.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope his mic just cut out recording just when he said, I pick Cassius, and then that's all it got for and then he cuts back in now.
I do see flashes of brilliance in the ring with Cassius, though. Like, he does certain maneuvers and stuff like that where I'm like, oh, wow, that could have been the start of a real cool sequence. Or, hey, if he was in there with this person or something and he could have just built onto that little sequence of what I saw, maybe this could have been like a really cool match. But
yeah, I've seen him live in person once. I used to go to this British indie show that had a lot of imports, you know, like former WWE guys. Chris Masters was the world champion for a bit and stuff, you know. And they've had the Dudley Boys. They've had, you know, when they were either in TNA or just floating about the indies, like not really signed. And they've had quite a lot. And Chris Hero, as he was, because he wasn't under his WWE name, he had the same. There was a noticeable difference. Like, they had some really good British indie guys, and then there was some noticeable difference in sort of the level up in terms of how polished the former WWE guys were. And Chris Hero was in that category where I sort of saw him and was like, wow, yeah, he's good. You know, kind of like he's in that upper level. And yeah, he just doesn't seem to be able to turn it on as Cassius. I don't know what it is.
yeah, maybe they won't let him. Jeez.
Yeah, maybe.
See what happens there. Next, we got a match I'm really looking forward to, a match that I really hope they let just go pedal to the metal. Just the build's been great. I've been aching for it. I've been wanting it. So I'm making this sound so sexual and inappropriate. I'm so sorry. Velvet's Dream, Aleister Black.
Oh man, yeah. Make sure you break out the lotion for this match.
Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black. I've been excited for this match. And this match has been nothing really more than just two personalities clashing. It just started with Velveteen Dream being a creep, just kind of starting to be obsessed with Aleister, saying that he wants him to say his name, stealing his jacket, getting down on all fours up in his face, looking like he's gonna, you know, steal a smooch from him, just all this stuff, messing with this guy. And finally he's got Aleister's attention. He's agreed to a match. He's vowed to destroy the Velveteen Dream at TakeOver. I strongly believe that this is where Velveteen Dream should give Aleister Black his first loss. Velveteen Dream, to me, has been one of the most organic, charismatic superstars that I've seen just pop up out of nowhere. This Patrick Clark guy is so ridiculous, and he knows his character. He's doing it well. He wrestles well. He looks great. He knows what he's supposed to be. And I think a strong victory here can really establish this guy. That's my feelings on the match. Either one of you guys have something to offer for this match that I've been waiting for so long?
Yeah, this is, to me, this is kind of NXT 2017's version of Undertaker Goldust, where you've got this guy who is phenomenal and, you know, really serious and, you know, really focused on what he's doing, and then you've got this other guy who's a little bit out there who's really trying to throw him off his game, you know, and that's kind of the dynamic, you know, and it's I agree, it's really entertaining. It's potentially going to be a really good match as long as they give him time and let him go. I don't agree that Velveteen Dream is going to win. I feel like they're going to invest a lot into Aleister Black, and I feel like, like I said with the women's match, I feel like Dream's character isn't really hurt by a loss. He can just carry, like Goldust never was really. He just carries on doing his thing. He loses the match and then just starts stalking someone else, you know, kind of thing. It's just, it doesn't hurt his character at all. Whereas I think Aleister Black at the moment, a big part of why people are invested in him is because he's winning matches and looking so strong. So I think it'll be one of the more competitive matches he's had, but I do think Aleister Black's going to win.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you, Mike, and here's the reason why. I'm just kind of looking at the Asuka effect and how important streaks are to WWE. It's one thing if we kind of know, like, I can't remember if this person is lost or blah, blah, blah. But when they go out of their way to mention it every time the person walks out, that they're undefeated, because they like to tout that kind of stuff. And it's like, Asuka went undefeated all throughout her NXT tourney, and now over into the main roster. It's like that was the whole gimmick that built her. And so, Aleister Black, this guy, I don't know when he's going to take his first loss, but I doubt it'll be the Velveteen Dream. But I do think it's going to be a great competitive match, and I think it's going to leave the NXT universe wanting more, myself included.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like Aleister Black doesn't take his first loss here, but I feel like he does take his first loss on NXT, because I don't think they'll do the same storyline as they did with Asuka so soon after, just with a man. I don't think he'll go up to the main roster undefeated. I think he is going to take a loss. I'm not sure I see it being here.
Right, yeah, very good points there. A man can dream. But, very, very good points. Regardless either way it goes, two very deserving talents of such a spotlight. They've really done these two a great favor by giving them an excellent spotlight so far and building to such a great, highly anticipated match by so many people out there. Nothing wrong there.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all. That's all.
Yeah. Let's not underestimate Aleister Black's part in this feud as the perfect straight man for Velveteen Dream's mind games. He's just no-selling it and just stares at him and just and he looks like he genuinely hates the story, which I'm sure he doesn't, but he's playing the part so well. He looks like, I don't want to be here, which is what he's supposed to look like. Yeah, I'm tired of this. Yeah, exactly. And he's playing it perfectly.
Yeah, great. Okay, so moving on, we have a championship match. We have a championship that's been vacated for a very long time. Asuka got hurt several months ago, and that's what led to her, vacating the women's championship and moving up to the main roster. I don't think that was something that was ever really detailed on mainstream social media or on WWE television. I don't really think they wanted people to know that happened. They just kind of wanted to, oh no, she retired as champion, so she's up here now and it's gonna a vacated championship behind, and we're finally going to fill it with a champion. We have Kairi Sane, we have Peyton Royce, we have Ember Moon, and we have Nikki Cross. Fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's Championship. I really don't know who to pick here. I feel like they can go a lot of different ways. I feel like they're trying to invest a lot in Ember Moon. They want to see her get built. They want to, put a lot behind her. She is someone that little girls could kind of idolize and look up to. I could see them putting on Peyton Royce, who's kind of been around in NXT for a while, and she kind of deserves to represent the female roster down there. Nikki Cross, not so much. I am a huge Nikki Cross fan. And Kairi Sane, she did win the Mae Young Classic, very good accolade there. But I just don't know if there's a lot they can put behind another foreign character who doesn't speak English, and not to sound terrible, that sounds awful, but they do kind of have to think about what demographics they're hitting, what people out there are going to be interested in, not to just have an Asuka number 2 to just go from someone who's just a miniature version of her. I don't think that's a great direction to go in. Personally, I'm going to pick Peyton Royce. So
I don't think it's a great direction for them to go in either, and that's exactly why I think they're going to do it. I think Kairi Singh, they were, that damn elbow drop and the way that she won the Mae Young Classic. Here's the reality. I'm picking Ember Moon. I wanted Ember to beat Asuka. I've been with Ember from day one, but I think even though I'm going to still pick her to win, I think unfortunately for her, her loss is going to be a consequence of timing, where it's like, yeah, we couldn't give you the belt while Asuka was here, and I know you think you're going to get it now, but the thing is that Kairi Singh. So I think, unfortunately, she's going to miss her opportunity again because they've got somebody new to push, but I'm still going to pick Ember to win because of all the wrestlers being featured in this match. I support her. Her finisher, man, that eclipse is just a thing of beauty, and I really want her to get her due. I think she deserves it. I think she's earned it, and I'm going with her.
Okay. Okay, I've got one thing that's definitely not going to happen. One thing that I think is 90% not going to happen, and then I actually have to try and figure out who I think is going to win. What's not going to happen, 100%, Kairi Sane is not going to get pinned. That's 100%, she's not taking the loss. I don't think she's winning it, but she is not going to be the one getting pinned. I don't think. They're going to protect her by having her in a multi-person match, so they can still push her without giving her the belt. Like, it's still technically undefeated if you haven't been pinned. You know, it's like asterisks next to it, but you can still claim unpinned. 90%, I'm pretty sure Ember Moon's not winning it. I'm sorry to disagree so directly, Emir, but Ember Moon was ready for the main roster yesterday, and I just, you put the title on her, you're going to have to take it off her very quickly, because she's going to have to go up eventually. Like, you know, like, not, she's the next one to go up, I feel, unless Nikki Cross goes up as part of Sanity. That's the only other way I can see another woman beating Ember to the main roster, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, you know, I don't see the point in putting the belt on her for her to suddenly have to drop it again. You know, they need to build up the belt again with a decent length reign. And I think the way to do it, because they've had a dominant champion, I think I agree with you, Brian. I think we're going to see Peyton Royce win it, and I think we're going to get that sort of devious heel duo, you know, keep the belt amongst us at all costs kind of situation, and she's going to have a decent run with it. And you know, they're a good duo, they're good charisma, good personalities, you know, which is what was lacking a bit from Asuka's reign, was the fact that she wasn't that good at speaking English. So, you know, I think having someone who's good on the mic take over is going to be a good way to go. So I'm going to side with Peyton Royce.
Yes, she's a great wrestler in her own right. The charisma, the way she looks fantastic. Her and Billy Kay are just the perfect annoying heels that just go around and just bother the hell out of everyone. You really want to see them get beat up. And when they are getting beaten up, they really make it entertaining. They're great. They're great together. You know, they were one of the first people who kind of stood up when Leo Rush kind of opened his mouth and, you know, kind of made a boo-boo with his statement. You know, Peyton Royce was kind of the first people who said, hey, you know, you just kind of got here, show some respect to us who've kind of been around. And she has been around, and I don't see anything that has been wrong with her in her run here. These two could have a really mischievous reign here for a while. I think the money's in the chase for a lot of superstars. They have a lot of great baby faces down there that they can really build to chase these two women. And it's two heels. You have a baby face chasing two heels. You know, you have a struggle, you have a story there, you have a fight. So I don't see anything wrong with that route. So we have that. And moving from one championship match to another, the NXT Championship, we have Drew McIntyre against Andrade Cien Almas, who I'm sure will be accompanied by Zelina Vega. I want Andrade to win. I know Drew McIntyre will most likely retain here. What do you guys have on Drew and Andrade here in this match?
Drew. Really short answer. Like, I'm loving the build-up of the character of Almas. I feel like he'll get really close. They could even potentially have another match at the next takeover. You know, he gets that close. But yeah, I don't know. I just you put the title on. You know, it's never been a hot potato title. There's only been a couple of instances where the belt stayed on someone for a short amount of time in like the history of the NXT title. It's not the sort of belt that gets jumped about, and I just feel like it's too soon. You know, Andrade might be a victim of being his first challenger, and that's pretty much the only reason he won't win the belt.
Yeah, I agree. Andrade, listen, from the first time I saw him in NXT, when he did that move where he flings himself into the ropes and like catches himself between the top and middle rope and kind of chills there, I was like, this is the guy. So much style, so much finesse. I think he's fantastic, but I don't think he's enough to overcome the resurgence of the Chosen One, Drew McIntyre, who's come back bigger and better, like Jinder, but someone who can actually wrestle. And
man, speaking of bigger and better, Drew is so big. Like when you look at him against like that roster, he's just like a massive. I never noticed in his first one that he was huge. Yeah,
Because
like,
he was tall back then, but he didn't have muscles. He was a skinny little twerp, you know?
Yeah, but I never noticed he was tall either, really. But he's like 6'6" or something. He's a massive man. It's really understated. It's only since he's come into NXT, and there are quite a few smaller guys in NXT at the moment. You know, like even your Aleister Blacks, who are like some of the most credible people on the roster. He's only, I think, Bob on 6 foot, if I remember rightly, Aleister Black. You know, so when you compare him to that roster, he's a monster. He looks amongst NXT like Braun looks on the Raw roster. He just looks huge.
What I like about him is he's completely aware of his size. So he did a podcast with Jericho on Talk Is Jericho, and he talked about when he plans matches with his opponents, they work that angle of like, okay, I realize I'm a behemoth, and I realize this guy's much smaller than me. What can we do to show that he really had to work to try to overcome my height and my strength?
Yeah, and he still manages to do it as the face at the moment. He manages to fight smaller heels and still get the babyface sympathy and get the heat on the heel. I think Drew McIntyre's like, okay, he was young the first time he was there, and certain circumstances caused him to pretty much have to let him go. But I feel like he had an Elimination Chamber match, and in that match, I remember distinctly watching it and thinking, man, if this guy isn't the guy, who is? Who is the next guy? Because he's so good. And then, it all went downhill, and he ends up in 3MB and gone. And it was like, what did you just do? Like, how did you waste that? But now it feels like he's even better, and he just cannot be wasted this time.
By the way, yeah, I love that Future Shock DDT. But here's the thing: if my memory serves me correctly, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm making this up, but I tune into Whenxt on a weekly basis, and I'm pretty sure the host of that show, Brian Green, is not a fan of Drew McIntyre.
Goodness, I knew you were going to call me out on it when you started.
Oh my God.
Boo!
I just don't. Gosh, man. If you can wrestle, you can wrestle. And if you can wrestle a great match and a great entertaining match, you can do that. And if he's capable of doing that, and I think he is. I think he had a pretty great match with Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode, who hasn't had, like, very great matches that we can highlight in WWE and stuff like this right here is match of the year, Bobby Roode versus X. This is the greatest match he's had in WWE. Drew McIntyre and his current run, I haven't really been entertained by anything he's saying on the microphone. Like, I just haven't been entertained by his presence. Jeez, I don't know. I feel so bad.
This guy sucks.
I feel like Drew McIntyre is currently. Do you remember when William Regal first came over to the WWF and had that man's man gimmick?
He's a man.
I feel like he's that, but without the cheesy naff side of it. He's just being portrayed as just the man. He's just like, oh, someone wants to fight me. All right, come and ask. Like, get in my face. Come and ask me to my face. And he just, when someone comes and gets in his face, he just stands over them like, yeah, I'm bigger than you, boy. And I just think he's great. I absolutely love Drew McIntyre. I think he's one of the best things in the whole of WWE at the moment. I
don't hate him.
Respectfully disagree.
I don't hate the guy at all. He looks great. He's champion for a reason. I don't hate him. Gosh.
You just don't love him.
I just don't like. Yeah, what are you talking about? And maybe I'm just being too cynical. Maybe that's just. I think it's just me. I'm sorry. There are a lot worse wrestlers in the world than Drew McIntyre. He is no Enzo Amore. Okay.
There's a triple threat match that I saw, and it was in the Indies. It was Drew McIntyre versus Chris Hero, obviously known as Cassius Ohno, versus Aleister Black. Which, damn it, I can't.
Tommy End. Hey.
Yeah, Tommy End. Right. Thank you. That match started out so boring, but I'm telling you, I hung in there, and like by the middle of the match, going into the end, I was like, holy crap, these guys. Even Cassius looked good in the match, but it was
Cassius Ohno can't wrestle, but Chris Hero's like great.
Yeah, it was. I recommend that.
Thinking they're the same person, like it's two different people. I'm telling you.
Go back and watch that match. Tommy End, which is Aleister Black versus Chris Hero, and versus Drew McIntyre. Go watch that. I think it was on Progress or something like that. I can't remember.
Drew Galloway, it would have been, wouldn't it? It'd have been
Drew, yeah, Galloway, exactly.
And I do apologize because I haven't seen any of his matches out on the independent scene.
Man, like
Galloway, but
I'm just judging it off NXT. I just think since he's been back, I've just enjoyed everything he's done.
Yeah.
Like honestly, but like I say, it's each to their own, and it'd be a boring world, a boring product, and a boring show right now that we're talking about if we all like the same stuff. So it's as long as you still agree that he's going to win, we won't kick you off.
he's gonna win. He's gonna win. It's gonna be a great match. He's gonna have an excellent match. Drew McIntyre is great, and I think the only reason why I got kind of peeved by him coming in was I had the Roman Reigns effect. Oh, I know he's gonna come in. I know they're gonna put the championship on him. Bobby Roode's gonna drop the title. It was just rinse and repeat. Bring in the new guy, put the title on him, get the old guy out of here. I think I just kind of got annoyed at how they brought him in. I feel so bad trashing the guy now. I'm so sorry.
Nah, I don't feel bad. Bobby Roode. Let me tell you something. Bobby Roode is a guy I'm not sold on. I like the best thing about Bobby Roode to me is his entrance. I don't like his wrestling style. I don't like his finish move. I don't watch any of his matches unless, he has to be fighting somebody else I really like. Otherwise, I'll fast forward through a Bobby Roode match.
Yeah. Some of his matches haven't been. Who did he just recently fight on SmackDown?
Dolph Ziggler, right? Was he fighting Ziggler?
It was Ziggler. They had a pretty good match, I thought.
That last one, that 2 out of 3 falls, but the other ones were terrible.
The thing with Bobby Roode is I love the entrance. I'm sure I've made it clear in the group. I'm a mark for the glorious thing. It's my alarm tone. Starts my day the right way. I disagree about his in-ring style. I think his in-ring style in NXT was perfect because he was that methodical, opportunist heel. It was a really old school way of doing it. You don't have to be cowardly to be a heel, and he was showing that. It was just as soon as he spotted a weakness, he was on it like a hyena. The one thing I will agree on though is the DDT. It's naff. He had the glorious bomb in TNA where he had them in like a fireman's carry and he flipped them over like an AA but into a neck breaker kind of thing, and it looked quite impactful. It looked really good, and it's I don't know if he's come to the land of the giants and be like, dude, I'm not sure I can do that to Braun Strowman or what, but I just don't think that it's one of the best DDTs about, but it's still just a DDT, and let's face it, the DDT hasn't been a serious finishing move since Jake the Snake. It's kind of the finishing move for people where they don't quite know what to give them as a finisher.
Except for that Future Shock DDT. Now that is an amazing DDT.
That's the double underhook DDT. That's a different variant. To me, that classifies differently somehow. Because Mick Foley's used it, Dean Ambrose, Drew McIntyre. Plenty of people have used the double underhook DDT and made it credible. But to me, a DDT is just a mid-match move, a standard DDT.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a mid-match move. So I'm not a fan of the Glorious DDT. I wish he'd bring in the Rude Bomb and call it the Glorious Bomb. Hello, reference back to Ciampa and Gargano, the Glorious Bombs that they used to do. Come on.
Never even seen that move. I didn't even know he had that.
Just look up any Bobby Roode TNA match that he wins with it. In the last couple of years in the company, and you'll see it. It was a good move. It worked well.
And that'll be easy to do because, TNA, they love to boast their current stars. Our current Bobby Roode, who's currently on our roster. Come over here and look at us.
Actually, I did notice, I don't know if you're into your gaming, but the glorious, the Roode bomb is on WWE 2K18 if you have it. So see if you can find it in Create a Superstar and Create a Moveset if you have it. It is in there.
Alright, I'm gonna pick that game up. I have not had it yet. Usually get them every year. It's the one I'm missing. But Drew McIntyre sparked all this conversation.
I know, comes back, Brian. Come on, get us back.
I guess he, they're going to have a great match. They're going to bring it together. They're going to represent that championship medal, and hopefully they go on to better things afterwards as well. But the big headline showcase match of the entire event is the War Games match. We have 3 teams. This is going to be Sanity, Alexander Wolf, Eric Young, Killian Dane, against the Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, with Roderick Strong, against the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole. Now, yeah.
Sorry, had to.
So the cage, you have 2 rings, 1 cage. It's going to be like the old War Games setup. I'm just learning over the past 2 days or so that the cage is not going to have a roof on it.
Yeah, which is either something to do with how they're going to finish the match, or it's just ridiculous.
Well, you know,
Either way, it's ridiculous.
WWE they have to jump in and go, okay, here's War Games, but here's our version of it. We're not WCW.
Yeah, but they've already changed the rules with having 3 teams and having the whole team come down on the buzzer, and because the way they're going to have it, they're going to have a triple threat in the ring, aren't they? And then they're going to have the buzzer, and the 2 members of one of the teams will both come down to the ring, so it'll be like 3 on 1 on 1 for a bit, and then the 2 members of the next team, and so they've already kind of changed how it works anyway. So it's apparently it's a Vince thing, which just butt out, Vince. We all like NXT because you're not involved, so just butt out. Like,
I wasn't aware of it initially, and then the way I found out was if you don't follow this guy on Twitter, you have to because he's hilarious. It's a handle that's called WWE Creative. Or Creative Humor. Yeah.
Is it WWE Creative-ish? Yeah, I always, half of my stuff when I live tweet a pay-per-view is retweeting them because it's just amazing. They just
tear the product apart. It's hilarious. And so then I saw a tweet from them where it was like, it's going to be War Games, but apparently the cage has no top, no sides, and no door. So there's no cage.
And there's not going to be 2 rings, there's just going to be 1, and it's basically, and there's not going to be 9 guys, it's going to be 2. It's going to be a singles match, basically, guys. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit frustrating, because I got into wrestling through WCW, so I'm a big fan of the War Games concept, and to see it teased but not quite done right is a bit frustrating, personally.
Yeah, the shark cages, I don't know if that's been a thing that they've implemented in the past as well. I was going to watch some of the original War Games matches, as soon as today. So no shark cages in the past?
No, I'm pretty sure they were just backstage and they did the buzzer and someone came out from behind the curtain like a Royal Rumble entry. Because, the thing is, they put them in shark cages, I don't know, so that we believe they're not fighting backstage, but we also believe not everyone's fighting in the Royal Rumble backstage before they get called out, so, it's not really a thing that needs to be done, is it? I don't know.
I'm so tired of this damn shark cage, like, dude.
I know, maybe they've hired it for a year and they're trying to get the money's worth out of it before they have to give it back. Because, they've used the shark cage, 4 times this year now.
And it's been terrible every time, it's such a stupid thing.
I don't know. Enzo dancing in it as he got raised above the ring was class.
Okay, that was fun, but then his skinny ass slides out of the cage, jumps down, and immediately gets his head kicked off.
Yeah, what was not to like about that? It was just all amazing. It was just that shark cage match should have been the one they had this year. The other 3, no, that one was the acceptable one.
Yeah. As far as the story goes, these guys have just kind of been at each other's throats. The Undisputed Era, Adam Cole actually debuted when Sanity won the Tag Team Championships, I believe. He came in with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. They kind of wrecked Sanity. They wrecked the Authors of Pain as well. It took 2 months for the Authors of Pain to come back, and when they finally came back, they kind of joined in on the chaos that Sanity and the Undisputed Era were throwing back at each other. The Undisputed Era actually got Tanya Conti to interfere in one of Nikki Cross's matches just to kind of stick it to Sanity. These guys have just kind of been throwing nasty jabs at each other, costing each other championship matches, just attacking each other backstage. There's this nice pseudo little love story going on where Roderick Strong needed to accept a wristband from Adam Cole. Adam Cole.
Baby.
So, they wanted Roderick Strong in the group. He ended up, siding with Authors of Pain, attacked him, and, kind of turned him down. I think the Undisputed Era is going to take this. Adam Cole really hasn't been showcased in the way I feel that he deserves to be showcased. This match here is where I feel like they should do it. They're bringing in a match they haven't done in 2 decades back. Holy cow, they need to do something. A lot of these competitors, I haven't really seen a lot of matches outside of the WWE. You know, the new guys who just kind of came in, the Ring of Honor talent. So I'm really hoping that they show me something here. I'm really hoping that they don't also disappoint a lot of these old timers who are kind of coming out and talking about their memories of the match. And some people are disappointed that the roof is off the cage and, you know, all this kind of hullabaloo. You know, I haven't been exposed to any of it, so I have no expectations or anything to be disappointed about. So as far as who wins, I got money on the Undisputed, and hopefully they'll be so happy in victory that they will decide to change their name. What do you guys have?
Okay, first things first, I agree. Ridiculous name. Like, I mean, how did they... I know they wanted to avoid legal issues, but how do you not do a pun on Honor in some way, shape or form? How is it not the Dishonored or, you know, something like that? How is it not a play on the fact that they all came from Ring of Honor round about the same time? And briefly, I think, were kind of together in Ring of Honor before they started fighting over the title and stuff. So, like, you know, it's there to be made, that pun, and they just didn't do it. So yeah, I agree on the name thing. I know who I'm picking. Emir, do you wanna go next?
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say this. Authors of Pain. Am I right or wrong that before they lost the tag team titles, they had never been defeated?
I think they hadn't. Yeah, I think you might be right.
So I have a hard time, in spite of who may need to be showcased, I have a hard time believing that they take time off, the Authors of Pain, and then they come back and immediately lose again. So I think, in spite of all the talent, and this is a stacked War Games, I'm gonna go with Authors of Pain because I feel like they just took a big loss. We can't Ronda Rousey them and have them take another one. They got to get back on top of the game, and then that'll set them up for the reason why they got to get back into that tag team title picture. So I'm going with Authors of Pain.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why the Authors of Pain are going to lose, and that's because they're going to get called up, and this is going out on your back. This is the tradition. You put over the next guys that are taking your spot, and a lot of people do it in NXT, is go out on your back, and then you can start your momentum when you get up to the main card, or you can flounder, you know, but it's almost separate. It's not even acknowledged, except in, like, the case of Asuka, for example. Like, no one's been talking about what Bobby Roode really did in NXT. It's just, oh, Bobby Roode is here from NXT, and that's the last time you hear NXT associated with Bobby Roode. Like, that's the last time. So, yeah, they're going to go out on the back. This might be their last match. It might not. They might run one more show because, you know, the story might progress and they might need to sort of finish off that story. Like, they might run one more takeover. But, yeah, I feel like they're going up soon. I feel like Undisputed Era are winning. I feel like there's something to this Roderick Strong story that we're not getting yet. He might turn and join them. And they've also, WWE have signed someone else, Donovan Dijak or something. I can't remember what his last name was, but from Ring of Honor, who's associated with them, and he's not shown up yet. They've not got a lid on the cage. He could come down and climb in and what have you. There's no rules. You know, so if Roderick Strong and this Donovan fella both decide to join Undisputed Era, that makes it 5-on-5 if the other two teams team up. You know, so it makes it a real big numbers game. And I'd like to see that because I don't feel like Undisputed Era have had the hot start. Well, they had the hot start jumping through, like Fish and O'Reilly had a couple of matches and then jumped the Authors of Pain, didn't they? And then later on in the same takeover, they came back and Adam Cole turned up and they all jumped through after he won the title. But since that, I don't feel like they've got the momentum that they're supposed to have. So I feel like they need to win this match. And I also feel like they need maybe to bolster the ranks a little bit, you know, and become more of a threat. I don't feel like they're that much of a threat as three of them.
No, they've just kind of been running away a lot. You know, they've kind of been stuck in this game of numbers, you know, with these other two teams. Just kind of, you know, once they get matched evenly, they kind of, you know, tuck their tails between their legs and up the ramp they go. They take a powder. So they haven't really... I mean, the video package they put together, they certainly were attacking, like, you know, a lot of the UK talent randomly. and Drew McIntyre randomly. I think they're going to circle back around and maybe get to Adam Cole against Drew McIntyre. I think they have Shawn Michaels refereeing a championship match between Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole at a live event. Actually, I don't know if that happened yesterday. Something like that was going on.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels super kicked somebody. I don't even know who.
Yeah,
that was
Kyle O'Reilly super kicked.
Yeah, it was big. It was like Shawn Michaels super kicks top WWE star. It's like, who did he super kick?
I'll tell you what, I bet Kyle O'Reilly marked out so hard when he learned like that spot was going to be in the match. Like, I'm gonna get. You remember Dean Ambrose getting Jake the Snake putting the snake on him, and you could see he was visibly marking out. He was visibly popping in the ring. Kyle O'Reilly must have had the biggest grin on his face when he got kicked. Like, imagine being told, "Oh yeah, you're gonna get super kicked by Shawn Michaels as part of an angle." Yeah, sound, that's good for me. Like, I'll do that. That's fine. Like, yeah. But another reason why I feel like Undisputed Era are gonna win this is because, like, yeah, they had the live event match. But, I mean, that's being widely reported on because of Shawn Michaels' involvement, and it doesn't sound like it was a wholly clean finish. They haven't done a televised program, and yet that's how Adam Cole debuted, was by attacking McIntyre. So he has to win this match because he has to be the next opponent for Drew, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to circle back around to that.
Yeah, so they need to win this match. You can't lose this match and then be like, oh yeah, but sorry, Eric Young, but you're not getting title shot. He is. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So,
yeah.
Here's a quick tidbit on Eric Young. I've grown to like him now, but I hated him in TNA because I feel like he was the poor man's version of Daniel Bryan.
Super Eric.
Eric Young was great at whatever they asked him to do. Like, whether it was like a vicious, manic heel, or whether it was like the weirdest comedy gimmick. He's held the women's title in TNA. You know, he's done everything they've asked, and in my opinion, every time I've watched Eric Young in TNA, I was entertained. He did everything right with whatever wrongs they were giving him. Like, he did the absolute best he could, no matter whether he was being booked well or badly. And I'm glad to see in NXT that they're treating him properly and they're giving him something to sink his teeth into, and I think Sanity is great. Like, I know we haven't talked about them, like, really in this match. You know, we've just been talking about how Undisputed Era is going to win, and then Emir said, well, I think Arthur's a pain, and we've just not mentioned Sanity, but they're going to make this match. Sanity is a really talented group, and they're going to make this, they're going to be a big part of what makes this really entertaining.
Yeah, Alexander Wolf, just talking about him specifically, just really, after winning these tag team championships, I just noticed him independently in the ring, just kind of, I've always been a fan of, you know, his skanking and doing the moshing and dancing around and doing all that. That's always been something I've loved him doing. He's great, very clean, very flawless in the ring, very smooth.
Yeah.
And yeah, just you speaking on Eric Young, he is so good. He is so good. So they're really going to pull the match together. I really hope they utilize that cage and bring that stipulation alive, and they don't just wrestle a match inside of a cage with two rings. Like,
oh no, I feel it's going to be about as brutal as we've seen in NXT. Like, this match, I feel like it's going to be like real brutality. Like, it's not. I know we've got a lot of good technical wrestlers in the ring. You know, you've got all of Undisputed Era. You've got Roderick Strong. You've got Eric Young, and like say Alexander Wolf. You've got a lot of
these are coming in with their strength. They're going to throw people.
Yeah. You've got all of that, but I think it's not going to be a showcase of the technical guys. I think it's just going to be a fight, and it'll be really entertaining. Right. Anyway, moving into hour two.
Yeah, hang on, guys. Let's first of all, that was great. That was great coverage there for War Games and NXT. Thank you, Brian, for leading us in that charge. Let's take a quick break. I need to just go check on my kids because they're going to be leaving in a second, and then we will come right back, all three of us, with our Survivor Series predictions here on Ring Psychology.
Be next, be NXT, be different, be weird, be huggers, be fireflies, be mohawks, be beards. Like no one, like nothing, like whatever. like this. Like Oscar, like Charlotte, like Becky, like Bliss. No tap outs, no count outs, no 3 counts, no friends. No stop it, no nostalgia, no now with no then. One shot in, 1 million, one verse all, one team. One fin, one valor, one demon, one king. Be hated, be vacant, be R-A-Y. Like Jimmy, like Jay, like even this guy. No divas, no mud fights, no thanks. One Sasha, one boss, one word, Banks. Be heard, be seen, like Dolph, like Dean. No guts, no glory. One shot, one story. Be you, like now, no time, one run. Be like no one. Get the deluxe edition and play 4 days early. Rated T for teen.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I serve as the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed, Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar! Someone wants to dispute the fact that Brock Lesnar is the champion in World Wrestling Entertainment. Brock Lesnar has eaten through the single most stacked heavyweight division in the history of WWE. You're not Brock Lesnar's equal. You're not Brock Lesnar's contemporary. You're not Brock Lesnar's counterpart on SmackDown Live. You're not even a worthy pretender to the throne of being WWE Champion at Survivor Series. You're going to Suplex City.
I am the face that runs the place. I am the champ that runs the camp. When you get in the ring with me, you've now entered the world of AJ Styles. You see this right here? This is my home. This is what I do. And in this ring, between these ropes, I am untouchable. If you want to come in here and wrestle, we'll wrestle. If you want to throw hands, we will throw hands. If you want to take it big to the air, oh please God, let's take it to the air, because I will embarrass you on every level. You're going to find out how phenomenal I really am.
You're gonna get your ass beat by Brock Lesnar. You're gonna get beat by Brock Lesnar. You're gonna get beat up by Brock Lesnar. You're gonna get hurt by Brock Lesnar. You're gonna get embarrassed by Brock Lesnar. You're gonna be emasculated by Brock Lesnar. You're going to be conquered by Brock Lesnar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ring Psychology, and this is the second part of our show here, our special crossover episode with Whenxt. Of course, I'm still here, Emir, Blackbane, Costello. We got Mike, and we got Brian, and we are ready to talk Survivor Series, which, in typical Ring Psychology fashion, I'm going to toss it over to Mike, and he's going to lead us through this conversation.
Yeah. You just sit there and press record and don't do anything else. That's that's fine.
I got my feet kicked up.
Okay, so pre-show, let's spend as little time on this as possible because it's Enzo Amore versus Kalisto, and I'm sure there's as many people out there listening that care about this match as there are in this conversation that care about this match. So yeah, I mean, who you guys got? I'm gonna say probably Enzo.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think Enzo wins. There's no real reason to put the title back on Kalisto, and also, I don't want the title to change hands, but I would appreciate it if Kalisto would change his outfit. He just looks like a gay warrior princess, or I don't know what's going on.
It's not like the sequel to Xena Warrior Princess.
Exactly.
Warrior Princess.
It's like,
I do agree though. Considering how used we are to seeing men in their underpants wrestling, for some reason the underpants looks really weird on Kalisto.
because
It looks
they're
like
booty
a
shorts. There's a difference between trunks and booty shorts.
Yeah, but who was it? Randy Orton debuted in booty shorts, if you remember. He had like the blue ones with like the yellow Adidas stripes down the side, and look where he's got to. So
But he was
maybe
so-
Kalisto's the future Hall of Famer.
Here's the thing. Okay, he had the shorts, but then he didn't have like the little straps falling in front of it. Like he looks like Kalisto is sexy as fuck. He needs to tone it down some. All right.
He's the new rated R superstar now. Edge is retired.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Right, Brian, bring this back on track. Who's winning?
Enzo's winning. Not for sure.
Yeah.
I think they're bringing in some more talent to this cruiserweight division. I think they need some baby faces to chase Zoe. Enzo's gonna keep his title. Kalisto and his gay warrior princess ways, unfortunately, will not recapture the.
He's so colorful.
Which, by the way, if you're out there and you're listening and you're a gay warrior princess, then power to you. It's 2017. We're not saying there's anything wrong with that. We're just saying that's not the look he's supposed to be going for. That's not the gimmick. So the gimmick's not working. That's all we're saying.
It's not Kalisto. First of all, I love gay warrior princesses. The problem with Kalisto is he's built like a damn 7-year-old, and then he's got like a little skirt on. It's like, come on, man, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I agree. While we're on the cruiserweights, by the way, just before we move on to the main card, real quickly, let's talk about the real cruiserweight that everyone actually cares about. Neville might be coming back.
Dun, 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 dun,
Positive
dun.
talks. And for me, I think positive talks means he's going to come back and he's going to feud with AJ and he's going to win the WWE title at WrestleMania. And that is the least I will accept. I will not accept any less than that.
So you're saying Neville escapes the purgatory known as 205 Live.
He better had. If he's agreed to come back to 205 Live, that is it. I have lost all respect for him. I wash my hands of him. Like, there's no way when you're in that position where they're basically begging you to come back, you go, yeah, all right, I'll come back to the exact same spot that I just walked out on.
He had some leverage to kind of weigh himself out of that division. I think he absolutely should have talked himself out of that division.
I mean,
to be wrestling for the WWE Championship at least.
He was out for a good few weeks. Maybe he spent all of those few weeks in like Taco Bell, and now he weighs 206.
206 leverage. Wait, hang on. You guys are wrong. Okay. Or maybe he's smarter than Nia Jax, but I feel like Nia Jax put herself. She negotiated herself right back into the exact same spot.
Yeah, but that's because Nia Jax is in the spot she deserves to be in, featured on television, but not the champion. That's exactly right for Nia Jax. She's the attraction that the smaller ones get to beat. Like, that's just how it is. But Enzo's in the wrong place as well. He's still employed. Neville's in the wrong position. Okay, granted, they put the Cruiserweight show on his shoulders, and yeah, him carrying a show is perfect, but it should be SmackDown, not 205 Live.
Can we just for a second touch on the fact? But by the way, I'm the guy who's like, hey, we don't have a lot of time for this conversation. I'm also the guy who goes off track every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm the guy that you said in the intermission, you need to keep this on track, and I'm the worst for going off track.
What is this thing where everybody got the information that Austin Aries quit WWE because he was tired of losing to Neville, and then all of a sudden Austin Aries comes out on Talk is Jericho and says, no, they let me go.
Do you know what it is? It's what I always say. So what I always say is that people think they know more than they do because the internet's a thing. So what happens is one person somewhere on a dirt sheet makes something up and then it gets, quote, widely reported, which means all the other dirt sheets see it and copy it. And then people share it on Twitter, people post it into wrestling Facebook groups, people post it onto wrestling Facebook pages, and it's taken as fact. And it's like literally one guy made up this, quote, fact. and now everyone believes it. And it's like, just wait and listen to Austin Aries. Like, he'll tell you the answer. Like,
so
you
much
know,
momentum and steam behind it. I feel like it gets circulated between so many pages, and it gets so many likes and shares that the sheer amount of likes and shares that something gets dictates it as being reality.
It's the curse of the internet. The internet's great for spreading information, but it's also great for spreading wrong information, and that happens just as much. And people never question it; they just jump on it. And granted, when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty naff that he didn't get paid for that." But yeah, you'd listen to him actually say it, and he's like, "I don't even know if I got paid for that. I don't care. I got paid well while I was at WWE." You know, I didn't notice if I didn't get paid for that specific DVD because I'm doing okay for myself. You know.
They took care of him too. They let him rehab in the performance center.
Yeah,
and
and he even didn't say anything about him leaving for the 90 days he was still employed for, out of respect. You're like, that's not the breakup that was being reported. Like, yeah, I mean, the more we stop listening to Dirt Sheets, the better. Like, I love the wrestling group, like our group, because we can discuss wrestling, but I hate Dirt Sheets. I stopped looking at Dirt Sheets years ago because it's full of lies and negativity, and that's all that's on him. And the occasional thing's right, and that's the thing where it's like, oh yeah, but look, he said that Dave Meltzer said this, and Dave Meltzer said that, and those two things happened, and you're like, yeah, but one of them's 7 years ago, and one of them's 10 years ago, what's he got right since? You know, it's just, it's sort of, it's just lying, basically, a lot of it. It's just made up nonsense.
Yeah, power of the internet, my friend.
I know. Anyway, US title, IC title, the best feud on the internet. Maybe not the best feud on TV, but the best feud on the internet. Miz versus Baron Corbin. Who we got? I'm a bit torn on this one, to be honest. I can see it going either way.
God, this is the one match I wish they would have changed somehow. I don't. I feel like they haven't really got much behind Baron Corbin on this match. They haven't really given him a chance to rebuttal to anything the Miz is saying. I feel like the Miz needs to win this match just because he's had the most exposure. He's heated up the most. He is great. I feel like he's going to have the babyface role in this match. People are going to be behind him. I think he needs to win. Not much to say beyond that, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the way they've booked these one-on-one matches, because when they were all first announced, you had Miz versus Corbin, I mean the champion versus champion matches, you had Bliss versus Natalya, you had The Shield versus the Usos, and you had Lesnar versus Jinder. So the only match out of those that wasn't heel versus heel was The Shield versus the Usos. Yeah. It was really weird. It was like they were consciously trying to make the fans pick a side based on brand loyalty rather than face versus heel. But then they've mixed it all up, and now the women's champion versus champion match is face versus heel. So's the main title match, Lesnar AJ. So this is one of the few that stayed heel versus heel, and it's an interesting dynamic. They don't do it a lot on TV, but I do agree Miz is going to be the face in this match. Like, Miz has his fans and people get behind him. Corbin doesn't seem to have that. He is kind of a pure heel. No one likes him.
That's true. That's true, man.
You know, the best heel in the company in theory, because no one likes him.
The Miz. First of all, can we just talk about for a minute The Miz? Like, when he first came out, he was, from MTV. That was his claim to fame. And I grew up watching The Miz. I met him. He was great, man. He complimented my daughter's beauty. He was an amazing guy. But on TV,
wow.
Yeah, man. Every time you saw The Miz, you thought he's the underdog. It's like, he's fighting John Cena tonight. Obviously, he's gonna lose. He's gonna fight CM Punk. He's obviously gonna lose. But now, when you look at it, The Miz is Raw. Like, the show is completely built around him. 7 to 10 segments, a night. And so when I look at him versus Corbin, this is like the first time I ever looked at a Miz match and went, there's no Corbin has no, you can't beat The Miz. It's like nobody's ever said that until today. I don't even care about this match, to be honest, because I'm not excited to see Miz fight Corbin, in spite of the fact that they tried to have this engaging verbal battle via, the internet and blah, blah, blah. But I do think The Miz wins. And if Baron Corbin wins, what are we doing with our lives? Like, really?
Okay, let me play devil's advocate a little bit, and let me say, Brian made a good point that Corbin has not had a good time in the feud with The Miz, and And usually, if one wrestler dominates the build-up to a match, the other one wins. Also, on top of that, Corbin's been looking kind of weak on SmackDown against Sin Cara, barely being able to beat him. It all kind of points towards the Corbin win, which is why I'm going to pick The Miz. Because I agree with you, Emir. I can't see Corbin is the massive underdog, but he's not the kind of underdog where it's being built up as him being the underdog. It's the outside of kayfabe. Corbin is the underdog to win this match. He is so unlikely to win this match. He's still being semi-buried. Like, yeah, he's got the US title, but I feel like part of that was to free AJ up, and it's like, who can we dump the title on? Okay, him, until we've got someone else to give it to. I don't feel like that was the start of a new push, because since he's won the US title, he's been mauled by Sin Cara and lost matches to Sin Cara by DQ and count out and stuff. He's not had the best record as champion, and he's getting mauled in this feud. The Miz, when they're having the little internet spat, so the Miz, they're both going off script. There is no script. The Miz is just gold. They've got to keep rewarding the Miz. They've got to keep building the show around him, and.
Well, here's the thing. The show would be a lot better, in my opinion. Okay, you have the show built around the Miz. Now, technically, he's the top champion because Brock Lesnar is never around. But so they're doing the right thing by making the show be about him, but they've got the wrong title on him. Take that IC belt, throw it on somebody else who needs it to enhance them. Jason Jordan. Sorry to advocate for him. I love him. But
Jason Jordan would be perfect about 2 or 3 months ago. Would have been perfect to take off the Miz.
Yes. Now, and what the Miz needs, as much airtime as he has, and he's got his cronies backing him, he needs to be Universal Champion. Because I hate when they have a champion and they're the afterthought on the show. They're not the main event. They're featured in the middle of the show. Nobody cares about them. You have the right amount of camera time on Miz. Put the right belt on that man.
Can I just ask, because this is going to be fantastic, I can see it already. Can you just very quickly, and I know we're short on time, but I've got to hear this. Can you just very quickly fantasy book the match where Miz beats Lesnar? The title. Can you just do that for me, Emir? Because I've got to hear this.
Okay.
As much as I agree, and the show needs to be built around him, and I want him to be one of the world champions, I want Miz and Neville as the world champions. They're my picks. How does Miz beat Lesnar?
I think the way that
have a transitional champion.
Okay, do you remember WrestleMania when the Miz was champion? He's booked in the main event against John Cena, and he somehow manages to walk out with the belt.
Yeah, but John Cena was always beatable with outside interference. There's always an asterisk when they say John Cena was unbeatable because you have to put clean next to it. John Cena never lost clean, but John Cena's win-loss record without the asterisk isn't that good. Brock Lesnar doesn't lose no matter who he's fighting and how many of them there are. He doesn't lose. Unless the Goldberg.
Yeah, in rather quick fashion. So maybe it takes something. I think it's gonna. Miz can't do it on his own, and Axel and help me out.
Bo Dallas.
Thank you, Bo Dallas. I still owe you that shirt. I owe you that shirt for Christmas, by the way.
I need that jacket.
It's not going to be enough, but I think if you get a Braun Strowman or perhaps some sort of returning superstar who comes out and interferes in a big way, and then the Miz is there to capitalize, he can do it. And who cares? It's a heel way to win the title, but he's a heel, so fuck it. Just let's make this happen. I'm tired of Brock Lesnar.
But honestly, if you stood the Miz, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel on a set of scales together, they probably wouldn't weigh what Brock Lesnar can bench. How does that team beat Brock Lesnar? I still don't buy it. I don't buy it. I feel like they try and get involved. Brock Lesnar throws them out of the arena. If they have an open arena, like at WrestleMania, he just launches them over the stadium, and then F5's the Miz. I just don't see it. I don't see how the Miz beats Lesnar.
I feel like the only way that the Miz take championship off of Lesnar would be if Brock Lesnar is being built towards another huge opponent. Let's say, I know it's not happening, but let's say hypothetically Sting was coming back and they were building towards Brock Lesnar versus Sting at a show like WrestleMania or something. I don't know how in the hell you would book triple threat match between
and then reverse DDT Scorpion Death Drop Lesnar, and then Miz just claims the win. Something like that.
Okay.
That or a triple threat match, as a cheap pop out. Just have Miz pin someone else while he's in a triple threat with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, or pick another superstar.
Speaking of Roman Reigns, Roman is slated to take the title off Brock at WrestleMania. The fact that it's stupid and impossible is not going to stop it from happening.
But Reigns is a lot more just in terms of, it's hard to explain, but Roman Reigns is a more credible opponent for Brock. Like, I know we're not going to be the heads of the Roman Reigns fan club in here, but he's a much more credible opponent than Miz.
It's going to take the Miz, Taraj, and then it's going to take more people.
Goldberg should come and reignite the feud with Lesnar. He should come in and spear Lesnar when the referee's not looking.
And Undertaker's going to have to show up and laugh at him.
Undertaker walks to the ring really slowly, sits down in the middle of the ring and laughs at him.
Yeah, does that ridiculous ass laugh.
Right, anyway, that's enough of a sidebar, but I had to hear that. I agree he should be Universal Champion. I just wanted to know how you would get the belt from Lesnar to Miz. Okay, up next, let's talk about the women's 5-on-5 elimination Survivor Series. Teams of 5 fight to survive, or whatever the original slogan was. That match. Okay, I'll go first. Raw wins because Asuka.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get around that. We were talking earlier about how we don't want to build another person in NXT to be just like some undefeated monster where they put themselves into a corner and we don't really have any options do anything with them. If they were smart, they'd give Team Raw the victory. Even though SmackDown has that mystery spot, which may perhaps go to Paige. I don't know how you get.
I've heard Paige. I've heard Nikki. I've heard. They could just throw Natalia in. I've basically heard every female name that's under contract that isn't currently booked in one of the two women's matches. No one really knows is the long and short of it, isn't it? They're playing it close to the chest. And
I agree with you. There's nothing that can be done with Asuka in this match. That's the only thing in this match that kind of deadlocks it as them being the only team to win. You can't DQ her. You can't get her counted out. That would be stupid. That would count as a loss, right? Elimination.
Technically. But they did say the Undertaker debuted in a Survivor Series match that his team lost and he got counted out, and then he still ran undefeated for a year until he beat Hogan for the title, I believe, and they still claimed he was undefeated. So it's WWE. They can say what they like.
they may qualify it.
Yeah, they make the rules up as they go along. So that is one way out of it, is a DQ or a count out.
Yes, there are ways that they could slip out of it, but I think we're assuming that they care too much what we think, and we obviously know that in the words of Vince McMahon, I don't give a damn what any of you think.
I don't give a damn what any of you think.
Frankly, I don't give a damn.
That was Punk's response, wasn't it? Or something. I remember that, yeah.
As he puts the title in the refrigerator.
Oh man, 2011 Punk, just that 6 months or so was greatest of all time. He was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, come on, Emir, who's winning this match?
It's got to be. I don't care who the mystery opponent is. I mean, the person who has him. By the way, why is there still a freaking mystery? It's stupid, but I think personally, can we do this? I think it'll be Paige. I don't know who you guys. If you guys want to lock in an official prediction for who it'll be, I'm gonna lock in Paige. I know they're pissed at her for ruining her re-debut on Raw by taking pictures with everybody, but this is a.
That's what's been reported on the internet, but we know how accurate that is. So,
if it's Nikki Bella, they're gonna piss people off.
I'll be happy with that. I don't understand the hate. I do not understand the hate. I understand the hate 10 years ago, or whenever she debuted. The Bella Twins were awful, and Brie Bella still is pretty awful. But I feel like Nikki Bella, really improved.
I just feel
in pretty much all facets.
I feel like there's so much hype and anticipation for Paige coming back. It's just like how the Royal Rumble a few years ago, everyone wanted Daniel Bryan to come out as number 30, and it was Rey Mysterio, and they booed the hell out of Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that wasn't hate for Rey. Yeah, I get you.
I have your thinking, Brian, but for a different reason. I think here's my reasoning. I'm not big on Nikki Bella. I mean, I love to see those titties, but here's the thing. G and Cruz. G and Cruz Gian Cruz is going to get me for bringing up titties on this podcast. He is not a fan of titties. Here's the thing. I'm tired of seeing Nikki Bella being booked like she's the female John Cena. It's like, oh, John's coming back to SmackDown, so Nikki's got to come back to SmackDown. You're not John Cena. You don't have his accolades. You don't have his championships. But it always looks like because you're his girlfriend, you get the asterisks. It's like, you every time John leaves, you leave. John's coming back. Hey, you're coming back. We get it, man. But like, it doesn't have to be that way. So yeah, it's like, let her come back on a different night, man, and let Paige jump back in somewhere, because Xavier misses her and we all miss her.
Yeah, she can't be on SmackDown. She can't be Team SmackDown. That won't go well.
Xavier won't get anything accomplished.
And the crowd chants will be a nightmare.
They have to be ready. They have to have something ready for those chants. Just like Stephanie McMahon actually was pretty great at being ready for Chicago right after CM Punk left. They have to have something ready for...
I'll tell you what they're going to do. Is Paige is going to win the SmackDown Women's title, and then her and Xavier are going to do Edge and Lita's live sex celebration.
And be like, boo, this isn't as good as the other version.
Oh, so have you got an official prediction for who the fifth woman on SmackDown is going to be, Brian?
I'm gonna say it's Paige. I'm gonna say that they may have intentionally made her take those photos. I'm gonna go conspiracy theorist on you guys and say maybe on purpose.
Oh, someone thinks Vince Russo's in WWE.
Wait, that's a good theory, because check it out. She was taking photos with the Raw women, so for her to then show up on Team SmackDown, that's a good swerve, right, Mike?
Swerve. Get Judy Bagwell, stick her on a forklift.
You say
She's the fifth woman.
You
She's the
call
fifth woman.
a swerve for no other purpose than to swerve, right?
Yep. There has to be one per show, so maybe that's it. Okay, let's stick with the women. Bliss versus Charlotte. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. I'm going Charlotte. Alexa Bliss. I think a lot of people, when they talk about Alexa Bliss, talk about how she's a really good promo, but she's not that great in the ring. I don't ever watch her and think, man, she's bad in the ring. I think she's quite good in the ring. She's just not elite in the ring. But we know if we're going to treat the women equally to the men don't have to be elite in the ring to win the world title either. So I don't see why that's the thing. She's got a good balance of character, promo work, decent enough ring work. I don't think she's bad. However, Charlotte's just won the title. Raw. I feel like this show is going to be fairly Raw heavy for wins. So I think this is one where SmackDown's going to win and Charlotte's going to represent.
I agree. The Flair name right now has a lot of steam behind it. That 30 for 30 that just aired. I haven't
also that
personally, but I heard it was just fantastic. Huge emotional championship victory from SmackDown. Alexa Bliss, in comparison, her feud with Mickie James was a little bit colder in comparison to what Charlotte and Natalya were just recently doing. So in order to kind of continue the momentum behind Charlotte, I think they're going to give her the victory here for SmackDown Live.
I think also we'd be remiss if we didn't bring this up, but Charlotte Flair gets a victory. Alexa Bliss can't handle it, attacks her irreprehensibly after the match, and then next thing you know, Carmella comes running out with that briefcase and no Ellsworth by her side, cashes in and walks out with the strap.
So wait, are you officially calling a Charlotte win and a Carmella cash in? Is that your? Because you get them. That's not a risk. You don't lose a point if she doesn't cash in. But if you're going to officially call that, and neither of us did, you can get a bonus point for that if that's your.
Yeah, it's 2 points.
I'm going in. You know me, I like to go for broke here, and it never works. But this time, it has to work. Come on, Carmella, your neck is so fucking long.
Not to mention her nose. Her nose is about 3 foot long.
So put your neck on the line, so to speak, because you've got enough of it. And
stick your nose into their business. So you see what I did there? Yeah, go on.
I do see it. And then cash that. It's like, we know you're tired of carrying around that briefcase. Wouldn't you much rather carry the title around?
I mean, you can wear the title around your waist. You can't wear a briefcase around your waist. It's inconvenient. It doesn't hold your pants up. Just cash it in. So we all agree, Charlotte.
Was it this past recent SmackDown where she dropped Ellsworth, or was it the week before?
It was the week before, I believe, because, I remember it was after he lost to Becky Lynch. She got in the ring and, kicked him in his face.
Sorry to cut you off right there. but
it's alright. It's alright. Yeah. It is a valid point because this soon after the whole story with Ellsworth not cashing, like bumbling cash-ins and stuff, and her ended up with him on a leash so she could trust him. Now she's on her own. Maybe that's it. That's like cash-in time. You know, like to prove that she was right all along about Ellsworth. Like, so are we all definitely going Charlotte and Emir's throwing in the Carmella cash-in as well?
Yes, sir.
Let's
Now
do
you
it.
said it, I agree, but I don't want to like try and glory hog it. I didn't think of it myself, so I mean, I'm sure at some point in all the build-up I thought of the possibility, and we've discussed it on the page, the possibility of Carmella cashing in for both titles, and and all that ridiculous stuff. But it wasn't my prediction, so bonus point for me if he gets that right. By the way, can I just say, is this show really predictable? Because so far we've all agreed on all of the matches that we talked about.
Yeah, but
So
sometimes we get that right when we do it that way. Sometimes we get it wrong, and we usually get our butts kicked by the game.
yeah, but it's a good job we've not done the simulations because we'll probably get it handed to us. Okay, Shield versus New Day. Before I'd even finished saying New Day, I'd written Shield under my name for the prediction. I mean, if you want the reason why the Shield are going to win, just go and look up a list of trios that the Shield have beaten, like as a unit, and this is their first pay-per-view match back as a unit. It should be the first match back, but they decided to waste that on Raw. God knows why. But the Shield have beaten, like, was it John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and Ryback or something, when Ryback was hot, like, was actually near the WWE title picture and stuff, and you just like, or was it Sheamus when he was being Irish John Cena and was unbeatable, and they beat all three of them just before WrestleMania or something, like...
I'm sorry, I just imagined a very, very Irish version of John Cena.
I actually used to, when I was talking about it to my friends, way before we ever met, I used to call Sheamus John L. Cena. Like, because he was, the way he was a face, he was just an Irish John Cena. He cracked bad jokes. He was nigh on unbeatable. He didn't take any opponents seriously. You know, he was just John Cena 2.0. Like,
That is true.
yeah. But yeah, based on who the Shield have beat in the past and the fact that it's the first pay-per-view match back together, the Shield will win. Like, for me.
Ditto. That's it. Nothing else.
That's how conclusive Brian is. World shot answer. Yep.
Well, New Day, I mean, as far as like any other reason, I don't really see a reason for them to win. I don't really feel like just the sheer star power that they have. Every member of the Shield has, won the world championship. And just in their promo that they had last week, we've never betrayed each other. We've never turned our back or betrayed one another. I feel like there's something there, so I feel like that's just a reason for them to lose.
No, I feel like that's the opposite. I feel like they were teasing the Shield to turn on each other, and that's why it's not going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what they're trying to tease, and that's why this isn't the right time to break the Shield up. So, that's sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I get what point of view but I don't think it's going to tease dissension among the New Day. I think it's going to tease absolute unity among the Shield, and that's what the New Day won't be expecting.
Emir, what you got?
I got the craziest, most ridiculous theory, and I'm just gonna say it. I don't care how stupid it sounds, but this is what I think. I was also, before you guys even brought it back up, I was on the same wavelength of Xavier's promo where he's like, come WrestleMania season, we'll still be together, and the Shield won't. They'll be doing their own separate thing. This is what I got. I got the match being very heated. It's going back and forth, and it's coming down to the finish. And then I got the Authors of Pain showing up. And I got them running into the ring and looking like they're going to attack the Shield. Only they specifically attack Dean and Roman. Dean and Seth, and Roman helps them and forms a new heel faction where he's the leader. And then the New Day pick up the scraps, get the victory, and all of a sudden Roman is turned. He's got these two gigantic guys that already dress like him that are going to be under his tutelage. And then that's a way that he can go after Brock Lesnar and beat him for the belt.
They're going to be clowns.
Wow, so you really weren't kidding when you said you don't mind how stupid it sounds.
I couldn't even finish it without laughing.
Well, I've written it down now. That's your prediction. New Day are winning thanks to the Authors of Pain.
Well, hey, you're looking for a disagreement. There you go. You should stick with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say disagree at all costs. Okay, that'll be fun. If that comes through, If that comes through, Emir, you automatically win the predictions game.
Yeah, that's
for
worth.
Clash of Champions.
That's
as
worth
well
more
as-
than one bonus point for sure.
It's worth, you win Survivor Series, War Games, and Clash of Champions in advance.
That would change everything.
If you get that right, there's no coming back from that. That's just the ultimate. If you predict that right, I'm going to ask you for Vince McMahon's phone number as well, because there's no way you go without prediction without being told that's what's going to happen by the man himself. Like, no way.
And
Okay.
wait, what if Vince McMahon listens to Ring Psychology?
And thinks, damn it, that's a good idea. Don't think that, Vince. That's a terrible idea. Turn Roman heel, yes. Do it that way, no. Oh, he doesn't need to go from face shield to heel shield when he turns like. Oh, anyway, the match that Rollins and Ambrose were meant to be in, the bar against the Usos. I'm going Usos. SmackDown need wins. The Usos are probably the best tag team on the planet, as long as you only live under the WWE bubble at the moment. They're the best tag team, like, in WWE for my money. They're just great. I think they deserve the win. I think they'll pick up the win.
I'm going to go with Irish John Cena and Cesaro. Actually, I feel like there was some... I don't really know if they did much to it this week on SmackDown, but I feel like Chad Gable is healing a little bit on the Usos, and the Usos definitely are going to be playing big faces in this match, but that shot block to one of the Usos' ankles or whatever, I feel like that might play into the match a little bit. Like, that might be targeted by the Bar. They're really good at, putting some heavy technical offense onto their opponent, and I feel like they're going to work that into the story. The fact that Chad Gable, tried to take out the Usos, in an effort to win the Tag Team Championship, and I feel like as we circle back around to that Tag Team Championship focus after Survivor Series, Gable and Benjamin, they're gonna turn heel. They're gonna, further attack that ankle and take those Tag Team Championships.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like this is just a checkpoint and that storyline. Not only are you costing us injury, but you cost us a chance to represent SmackDown and get a victory, because Gable and Benjamin, they haven't really been around for any of these attacks. They don't really care about SmackDown being superior. Well, I guess Gable was there when he attacked Jordan at the original Siege, but lately they've just kind of been really focused on winning the tag titles. They don't really care about the Usos' health and getting a win for SmackDown here. So I just feel like that's the reason why the Bar can capitalize and focus on an injury that Gable caused. So
Wow, interesting point. Well made. Right. So if I can take a shot at what Emir's going to predict, I'm guessing Rikishi's going to come back and turn heel on his sons. He's going to bring, who was it who used to do the stink face? Was it Tori Wilson? He's going to bring her with him. And she's going to stink face Jimmy. And then Naomi's going to be like, what you doing with your face in that girl's butt? And she's going to come out and kick him in the balls. And then Cesaro's going to roll him up. Is that what you're predicting?
It's almost like you're in my head at this point.
I love this show.
By the way, quick side note, which I think could be groundbreaking at this point. WWE in talk with Charlie Haas,
Yes.
one half of the world's greatest tag team. I don't know, maybe he shows up on SmackDown and Gable gets the boot from Shelton. Like, sorry, got to go with my original boy here.
I would love to see Chad Gable get a serious singles push. His matches with AJ earlier in the year, fantastic. He could take the US title off Baron Corbin and run with it. And I don't think he'd need some stupid gimmick like they tried to saddle Jason Jordan with for it to work. I feel like Chad Gable can just out-wrestle Baron Corbin, win the title, and then just wrestle different people each week and do John Cena's open challenge. He's charismatic, so he can cut promos, but he's just let him do his speaking in the ring as well. I'd love to see that. I'd be all for that.
I got the Bar going down. I think they've just sneakily won the tag team titles, and then they got to stand tall on SmackDown by beating up the SmackDown roster with the rest of their Raw buddies, and the Usos they're just too good. I got this also as the match of the night. I think it's going to go down as the most entertaining match of the night, but I think the Uso Penitentiary is going to lock up that win.
I mean, it's good. Can I just say, as a prediction, I think this is going to be one of the best WWE pay-per-views of the year. I think as long as they give Lesnar AJ a bit of time and it's not just a standard Lesnar kind of quasi-squash match, that could be amazing. The men's 5-on-5 last year was ridiculously good. I think this year's could be just as good, if not better. The Bar versus the Usos, I mean, when the worst guy in the match by some distance is Sheamus, it's pretty good that, because Sheamus isn't bad. Sheamus is not bad, but he's the worst guy in this match by some distance, you know, so I think they can really turn on. Shield versus New Day, come on, that's going to be amazing until there's a pain turn up. I feel like Bliss and Flair are going to have a good match. Like I said, I think Bliss is really underrated in the ring, and Charlotte is obviously Charlotte, you know, like everyone knows what she's capable of. The women's 5-on-5, I mean, that's going to be the Asuka show, but there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like the vast majority of the show has potential to be really good in ring, like really good. It could be a fantastic show, this. But I'm also sad that Emir's agreed with me, so I think I'm wrong on the Usos winning.
You bastard.
Okay, right, the two definite main events. Like, let's not pretend anything else is on the same level. First, the men's 5-on-5 match. Let's cover that. So, with the average age of 92 in this match, which team you got winning and why?
Oh man, the AARP showcase here. Team Raw against Team SmackDown Live. No, I'm just, in all seriousness, the age of these guys, it doesn't really, I haven't really thought about that as a factor. That hasn't really bothered me. Just the sheer magnitude of all these names in this match is absolutely fantastic.
And the build's been so entertaining. The build has been so entertaining, and it's just the fact that it's not going to be the fast-paced match that it would have been 20 years ago, but it's going to be like a ridiculously good psychological match. Like, it's going to be start to finish really cleverly put together.
I haven't seen teams like this in years. This is like the best. I can be talked out of it, absolutely, but I think this is like the best organization of teams like I've seen, just as far as like the sheer names that are in the match. Oh boy, but what really throws a wrench into kind of the predictability of it is you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who were quote unquote sent home from the European tour, and they bailed out when Raw was coming to invade SmackDown this past week. You have them, they can cost SmackDown the match. You have Jason Jordan, Christ McGee, who can come out and try to Kurt Angle when he's in peril, try to lend him a hand, but accidentally, cost him the match, or come out and try to, get his, revenge on Triple H and cost Raw the match. So you have on both sides two key elements that could really cost each side the match. I really don't know who to. Yeah,
I'm a little bit worried about this match being really overbooked, because, like you say, you've got Owens and Zayn sort of creeping about, not fully on Team SmackDown. You've got Jason Jordan, who could be out to help his dad. He could also be out to screw over Triple H, or even to turn heel and screw over his dad for letting Triple H do that to him. I don't know. But then on top of that, you've got the obvious tension between Triple H and Kurt Angle, and you've got the tension between Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, and it's like, do either of these teams actually want to win? I don't feel like either side actually wants to win the match. So I think there's like Shane McMahon in the match that wants to win. Everyone else is just like, well, I'm going to fight my teammate.
Braun Strowman being on Raw is the only reason I would give them, any sort of, favoritism here. But SmackDown, as far as the alliances go, all people on SmackDown haven't had any issues between them. They're all pretty much baby faces over on the SmackDown side. There hasn't been any issues amongst the five of them. They have John Cena. That's a big name. There's no one on the Raw side that really can, be hurt by taking a loss. So it's kind of been a tradition here for SmackDown to take the victory at Survivor Series, and even though 25 years of Raw is coming up, I'm just going to go with SmackDown here. There's a lot more going up, against Raw that would prevent them from getting the victory, so I think SmackDown's going to take it, absolutely.
I am inclined to agree. SmackDown won last year, and that could lead you to think, well, now they're going to even it up. But let's face it, Raw wins the rest of the year round in terms of, when they do the drafts or the shake-ups or whatever. SmackDown always gets stuffed. What does AJ say? SmackDown makes them, Raw takes them. It's true. And they have the Brock Lesnar's, they have Roman Reigns, they have John Cena jump ship. Okay, he's on SmackDown for this match, but he's been just because he wanted to be on Raw to fight Roman Reigns. I think, like you said, no one on Raw loses out by getting eliminated. I think they gang up on Braun to eliminate him, to keep him looking strong. I think Finn and Joe are going to cost each other their spots somehow, and get eliminated. And I feel like Jason Jordan, Triple H, and Kurt Angle, the combination of the three of them is going to be the reason why Triple H and Kurt Angle lose. I feel like no one gets hurt by that. I think Owens and Zayn might try and screw Team SmackDown, but they might the five of them might rally up against them and, drop kick them out of there kind of thing, so turn them back. So I'm going to go with SmackDown, in case I didn't actually clarify. Yeah, I'm with you. What about you, Emir?
I'm going to go with SmackDown too, and it's for one reason and one reason only. Hustle, loyalty, respect. That's three reasons. That's three reasons. It's like, yo, Brian, I feel you, man. You're like, they got Braun, and that's why they have the edge. Yeah, but John Cena, is that not a Braun neutralizer or anybody else? Like this,
it absolutely is.
This guy. Also, we're talking about Braun Strowman, who is booked as a monster 365 days a year, except for when he goes against somebody who matters. I mean, he went down to one freaking F5. I was there. Couldn't believe it. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I do feel like it's going to kind of be I feel like they're going to, I don't know, who's team SmackDown? Like, maybe he'll take a Kinshasa and fall into the corner, then Shane will do coast to coast, and then he'll sort of roll out and Cena will pick him up and AA him or something and then feed him into a glorious... it's going to be one of those where he just gets mauled when he gets eliminated because it takes all those finishes to beat him. I think they're going to make him look strong, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I agree. John Cena is coming back. It's a special thing. First of all, he did the favors on his way out, so he needs to come back and get a victory because he's John Cena after all, and we don't get to see him too many more times in the ring, it looks like,
Yeah. Okay, so we'll all agree that's SmackDown. And now for the main event, let's all agree that Raw's going to win. Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. I'm 100% thinking Brock's going to win. I'm not really in any doubt about that. I'm just really hoping that this match more resembles Brock versus Punk from SummerSlam a few years ago than it does Brock versus, say, Seth Rollins, when Seth got a bit of offense in from basically running around Brock in a circle, but then basically got manhandled. Whereas the Brock Punk match was really back and forth and really even. And I know it was a different Brock back then, but if anyone can put up a credible threat that's smaller than Brock, like significantly smaller, it's AJ.
Yeah, oh man, I can't wait to see what these two do. I feel like this would be a dream match if maybe in AJ's mind of an opponent that he would want to hit. He is the greatest in-ring performer of our generation, and just the things that he does, they speak for themselves. I want to see this guy compete against anybody. I'm very happy they went with AJ instead of Jinder. In regards to just, the quality of match that they can put on, I don't know what they were really thinking when it came to, putting Jinder in there.
My thinking with that was they were building up to the India tour, so they kind of want to sit him on the tweener fence and make him a bit more... Because I think part of the reason, because people are saying, the India experiment hasn't worked with Jinder, I think part of the reason was you made Jinder Mahal, the representative in India, thoroughly dislikable. Like, you made all of India, if they get behind Jinder, look like scumbags. Like, let's face it, India already have a number one wrestler. Everyone in India loves Roman Reigns. So, why do you need to try and force Jinder on them to get into that market? That's why it failed, but I think that's why they booked him against Brock and why they came up with this whole idea was to sort of get him a bit of sympathy and get him sort of turning a bit tweener, not necessarily full face, but a more likeable heel, if you like.
Yeah, you know what? I can go with that. And speaking of Jinder Mahal in India, because I seem to be going with swerves in every damn prediction of everything I've predicted so far. I'm not entirely against the idea that AJ Styles has Brock on the ropes and looks like he's getting ready to beat him and get the biggest victory of his life, only to be thwarted by the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal, who somehow cost him the match.
I mean, but you're still siding with Brock, right?
I am, yeah, but
Even if it's unclean, you're saying Brock.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be clean. I think AJ Styles will get so close to beating him, and then because they got to find a way. That little backstage segment where it's like after you get beat by Brock Lesnar, the modern day Maharaja, blah blah blah. It's like, nah, that's not enough. I think you got to have, because AJ Styles looked at him like, whatever, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a reason to make AJ look that direction again, and I think it's because Mahal gets him. Because what else is Jinder doing at this pay-per-view? Nothing, right?
I know, yeah, like, where's his payday? Like, he deserves the payday, if nothing else, for all the effort and work he's put in.
Yeah, so hopefully they will get involved, and it'll kind of further the program, because otherwise, what do we got AJ coming back to? So something to think about.
So what you're saying, Brian, are you siding with Rock, or do you think AJ's winning?
I'm going to side with Brock taking the victory here, but AJ is going to look great in this match. Just imagine all the counters to all the suplexes that Brock is going to throw. Imagine.
Oh man, how many back somersaults is AJ going to do in this match?
Imagine how far AJ is going to get flung across the ring or down the ramp, or just how high he's going to get thrown, from a freaking military press or something.
One of the things AJ's best at is taking a back body drop. When someone back body whips him against the ropes, back drops him, he sort of looks like he's in the air for about 10 seconds. So God knows when someone the strength of Lesnar throws him, how he's going to sell that. It's going to look amazing. It's going to look phenomenal, pun intended. It's going to look so good.
How about AJ going for that phenomenal forearm, and as he flies through the air, gets caught into the F5.
Yeah, that's the finish. Spoiler alert, guys. And if for anyone out there that's a naysayer that's saying, no, AJ can win this match, here's my question. Two questions. One, is Brock Lesnar going to take a Styles Clash? The move that has broken like 2 or 3 people's necks legitimately. No, Brock Lesnar is no way going to agree to take that move.
How can he hold him anyways?
Yeah, exactly. It's too risky with someone the size of Brock. And 2, can you see Brock Lesnar being pinned after a phenomenal forearm? After 10 phenomenal forearms, it's still just a forearm. Like, he may make it look amazing, but it's a forearm from someone who's like nearly 100 pounds lighter than Brock. There's just nothing. AJ can put up an amazing fight, but to me, there's nothing in AJ's repertoire that can put away Brock. That's the problem with this match. That's the one sort of problem that makes it really predictable, is there's nothing. I mean, the only thing is like a really shocking roll-up. That's literally the only way it can ever happen.
Yeah, that believability is what's going to hurt AJ. And Vince recognizes that. He's going to think about that in his decision. A Big 4 pay-per-view, he's not going to let his big moneymaker like Brock take this loss on his way out, because presumably, I don't know if Brock is on his way out after WrestleMania, but he is gonna, I think everyone knows, he's gonna lose that Universal Championship to Roman at WrestleMania. There's no logical reason for Brock to lose in Vince's mind. That's just my presumption.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is the Big 4 pay-per-views, Mark Central, they're casual fan central. They're the shows that they expect the casual fans to watch, and like, they're not taking into consideration what the internet thinks of AJ Styles, or what the hardcore fans think of AJ Styles in this match, or how sick some people are seeing Brock suplex someone and then go home for 3 months. Like, they're not bothered about that. This is for the casual fans, and Brock's the bigger name, and Brock's the logical winner. Like, when you just look at them against each other.
Right.
Well,
yeah, man. There it is.
It's gone well. It only took, 48 hours later.
I know, it's Thursday. We've missed the pay-per-view.
But we had fun talking about what we thought was going to happen, so it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't, and not to mention, everybody that's out there listening, we're going to potentially do it all over again in a couple of days when we get our reactions and stuff recorded on the following episode of Ring Psychology. So thank you guys so much for listening and hanging in with this show. Is a little bit longer than usual, but it's all good, I promise. And Mike, you were fantastic as you always are.
I know.
Brian Green, host of Whenxt, thank you so much for joining us for this crossover episode.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me. I hope it wasn't too much of a nuisance. Hope I didn't ramble too much. Hope I didn't bore anyone or freaking.
No, I'm just hoping next year they have a takeover for every pay-per-view, so we can have an excuse to have you back on.
Hey, I'm happy to do it. Happy to talk wrestling, man. Happy to be here. Hope my insight helped. Anything NXT, I got you guys' back. So come call in whenever you need a hand.
We'll throw the Whenxt signal, like the bat signal, when we need you.
Exactly.
Just be a signal of Triple H doing the pose where he,
Triple H, pedigree, and Vince.
Yeah.
I have to go. There's trouble afoot. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in a couple of days for the reaction show. But enjoy War Games today. Enjoy Survivor Series tomorrow. And we will catch you guys down the road.